Roman 3. It was i'rab being light or heavy. If after the expression of i'rab there is an end sound, after the expression of i'rab, the i'rab will be considered heavy, and if the end sound after the expression of i'rab is not there, it will be a light i'rab. For example, kitabun, which is the expressive of the i'rab? Kitabun. Which letter is the expressive of i'rab? Indicative of i'rab? You know, U. This vowel. And this N sound follows that. So this has made, this is unduly. You know, the word kitab, you know, it means book. Then you need to express an i'rab. Now i'rab is very clear here, kitabu. Now this N sound has just been added by Arabs after the expression of i'rab, so this has made i'rab unduly heavy. This will be considered as heavy i'rab. You just, you know how it was brought? This was this additional dhamma which was bringing this. So remove this additional dhamma to make it kitabu. This is light. So heavy, light we will indicate with L and heavy with H. So this is heavy i'rab and this is light i'rab. We will come to know that Arabs actually, you know, just like the card players, you know, I don't know how to play cards, but it always bothers me. It always bothers me when I find people playing cards that sometimes they put a card down and they say, oh, and sometimes they just pick it up and they say, oh. So Arabs, they have got these cards. Sometimes they will put an N burden on the i'rab to get some objective, and sometimes you will just remove it, again they will get some objective. So what objectives are, what advantages they get, that we will learn later on. But at present we are just understanding that they have got this habit that sometimes they keep the i'rab heavy and sometimes they keep the i'rab light. That's all that we are learning now. Clear? So that is our objective now. So kitabun is heavy i'rab and kitabu is light i'rab. Similarly, in nasab form, kitaban is heavy and kitaba is light. So this is rafa form, this is nasab form, and here I am writing the jar form. So kitaba is the nasab form, light. Now kitabin, this is heavy, and what will be the light one? Kitabi. Now we take one example of the masculine plural also, muslimuna. Now you know the Arabs normally they don't use the harakat. Why? Here also we don't need any harakat to be mentioned. Every one of us knows that this is Muslim, and there is no way other than muslimuna to pronounce, just to indicate this last fatha you can do, even if you don't do it, because there is no word muslimuni. So you will automatically pronounce this word muslimuna, but you are the beginner, so I'll just indicate this last fatha muslimuna. This is heavy, and in the rafa form, and the nasab and jar form of muslimuna will be muslimina, and then again muslimina. Jar form is also muslimina. And how to make it light? Muslimu. And if a masculine plural form ends at waw sakin, and alif will be written, which will not be pronounced. Ya ayyuhallazina amanu, there is an alif there. Innal lazina kafaru, there is alif there. So whenever a masculine plural form ends at waw sakin, an alif will be written there. But you are the beginners, I don't want to confuse you. Now full ya will be written, it is like this, muslimi. Again, muslimi. So this is the light adab. In all the cases, what has been deleted? And sound, not necessarily the noon. In every case, and sound has been deleted, which was after the indication of i'rab. You know, the first harakat here was sufficient to indicate the form of i'rab, kitabu, kitaba and kitabi. But unduly, a burden of end sound through an extra harakat was given. Here, i'rab was clear, and it was very clear also this is the Jama form, Jama masculine form, but a noon was added there. So it was an extra burden which made the i'rab heavy. Now the next subheading, response to the call of i'rab. Response to the call of i'rab. The Arabic construction, the Arabic sentence that calls for the change to indicate that this is a nominative form or nasab form or the jar form. But as I gave you the example of read or put, more specific example, put remains put. So in the sentence it will be clear to you whether it is first form or second form or third form. But separately, put, it can be the first form, it can be second form, it can be third form. But in the sentence, he put the bag on the floor. Which form is this? Put. How it can be present form? It is definitely the past tense. This is why I gave use the third person. In first person, no doubt there will be a confusion, right? He will put the bag on the floor. Now this is definitely first form, but he put, this is second form definitely, and then the bag was put. Now this is definitely the third form. So in a construction, in a sentence, it will be clear to you that which form is this, but sometimes it may be confusing. So in Arabic, the nouns they are of three categories. That is just to tell you that in verb, for example, the put, the form is the same, but it is recognized in a sentence. So the first example in this is called mu'rab. Mu'rab, and I name it fully cooperative. Fully cooperative nouns. Kitab is a fully cooperative noun. When you require to use it in the nominative form, it indicates the nominative form by kitabun. When you have to use it in the objective form, it's clearly kitaban, no confusion. And when it is in the jar form, it's clearly kitabin. So this is called mu'rab form. Kitabun, kitaban, kitabin. Now I'm not using rafa form, nasab form and jar form. I'm straight away saying kitabun, kitaban, kitabin. Now this will be our routine in the class. We'll just pronounce a noun 3 times. It will be automatically understood that the i'rab is being indicated. Kitabun, kitaban, kitabin. Kitabun, kitaban, kitabin. Then the second category on under this heading is ghayru munsarif. Ghayr munsarif. or you can say partly cooperative. Partially they are cooperative, partly or partially cooperative. Nouns. More of the other name for this is munsarif. Munsarif means accepting the change. Sarf means change. Sarraf is the exchange, money exchanger is called sarraf in Arabic. If you go to the Arab word, when you see the heading sarraf, it means the money exchanger. Munsarif, the one which changes, and ghair munsarif, which doesn't change frequently. Ghair munsarif, it has got two characteristics. Number one, it does not accept kasra at the last letter. Kasra, that means, I'll give you the example, you will understand. It does not accept kasra, the zair harakat, the kasra harakat at the last letter, and also it does not accept tanween. It has got two characteristics: no kasra, under the last letter, of noun, and no tanween. So, Umaru, Umara, Umara. Umaru, Umara, Umara. So, what does it indicate? This is the Rafa form, Umaru, Nasab form, and Jar form. No kasra. Fir'aunu, Fir'auna. Munsarif accepts kasra and tanween both. It does not accept kasra, also it doesn't accept tanween. So, this is the comparison. This ghair munsarif, we will study now in detail the ghair munsarif. In the detailed books of grammar, you will find many categories of this, but we will study most frequently used in the Quran and Hadith. Few of them. Number one, the types of ghair munsarif. Heading will be the types of ghair munsarif. Now the word proper is being used. The proper nouns, the non-Arabic proper nouns which do not resemble Ibrahimu, Ibrahima, and Ibrahima. Ibrahimu, Ibrahima, Ibrahima. Is clear? This is Rafa form, this is Nasab form, and this is Jar form. There is no Ibrahimi. In Quran, you never find the word Ibrahimi. Similarly, Fir'aunu, Fir'auna, Fir'auna. You have already written this. Fir'aunu, Fir'auna, and Fir'auna. Then Davudu, Davuda, Davuda.
الذين آمنوا وتطمئن قلوبهم بذكر الله